Democrats laid out their impeachment case against President Trump with a detailed reports accusing him of betraying the nation. So what happens next? Well, proceedings have to be started by the House of Representatives, where a vote to impeach only needs a simple majority to pass. And with the opposing Democratic Party holding a majority, most think that this is likely to happen. The process would then move to the Senate, where a trial would be held. But Democrats would need a two-thirds vote to remove the president. With Trump's Republican Party allies in charge there, that makes a conviction unlikely. Mr. Trump's been playing the proceedings down on Twitter, calling impeachment the greatest con job in the history of American politics. But there is some evidence that the process is hurting him, because the latest poll shows half of Americans think he should be impeached and forced out, and that's slightly up from 2 months ago.
Well, joining us now from Memphis is political commentator and Republican Ben Ferguson, who thinks this is a tactic being used by the Democrats, but believes it will actually help the president. And from Los Angeles, we are joined by a critic of Donald Trump, Maclen Zilber, who says it would set a dangerous precedent if the impeachment was not played out in full. Ben Ferguson, he deserves to be impeached if he's done something wrong.
Right. But he hasn't done anything wrong. So it's kind of a witch hunt at that point. And this is basically the Democrat strategy that is, look, we can't beat him, so we'll impeach him. And that's the reason why you see so many Americans now that are rejecting this. This is why you're seeing the vote be rushed in America right now, because Nancy Pelosi, very smart politician, Speaker of the House in the U.S., understands she can't even let her members go home for Christmas break, because she knows the political pressure when they get home is going to be so great that many of them that are in swing states that could easily go back to the Republican Party, she may lose them in the vote. If there's anything that's been bipartisan now, the only thing that's been bipartisan is Democrats and Republicans now are agreeing that this is a witch hunt and Donald Trump should not be impeached.
Okay,
The Democrats, I would argue,
Ben,
basically just gave him re-election.
OK, let's switch over to Maclen Zilber. The problem is that you need to convince people that what Donald Trump has done is wrong. And I just wonder whether the whole issue of what he's done doesn't actually resonate amongst voters and could work in his favour, as Ben suggests.
So what Donald Trump has done, whether it currently resonates with voters or not, which polls say it does, is clearly a crime. And that's what the impeachment process is really about, is does this rise to the size of high crimes and misdemeanors?
What is the crime?
What is the
crime? Quid pro quo. It's bribery. It's soliciting a foreign power to give him opposition research against his leading opponent at the time.
Bribery is not one of the articles of impeachment. They haven't even tried to claim it's bribery. Why are you inventing a crime
in the longer 260-page document, bribery is mentioned as one of the reasons. But the reality is that
bribery is not one of the reasons for the impeachment.
The reality is that if they did an article of impeachment for every impeachable crime Donald Trump has committed, this would be a much longer document.
Maclen, let me ask you this.
They are trying to do a simple in and out with these substantial crimes.
Time out, guys. Ben, let me speak. Maclen, there's an old military phrase: never start a war you can't win. Right? Seriously, the Democrats here have begun a process that they know is doomed to failure. The Senate is Republican majority. It's never going to convict Donald Trump on this. Everybody knows that. The latest CNN poll overnight shows that American public support for this is falling, not increasing through the impeachment process. So the Democrats are going to be giving Donald Trump an unbelievable post-Christmas gift. They're going to be giving him a public trial at which he is guaranteed to be cleared, to be acquitted. And he will then say, I told you, I've been acquitted, I've been cleared, it was a witch hunt, and then he steams into the 2020 election. And that can only help him. Why are the Democrats committing from what looks to me like this grotesque act of self-harm?
See, Piers, the problem is that you're thinking about this in terms of political tactics. If this were a political tactic, it would not be a wise move for the Democrats because they're likely to take him out in 2020. Why would they impeach him and hurt their chances of taking him out in 2020?
It's a political movement.
Piers.
No, this is a response to a direct criminal act that took place on national television.
Let me jump in here.
All right, let me hear Maclen.
Democrats
explain.
in Congress.
Ben, I'll come to your response in a minute. Maclen, just explain to me very clearly why this whole process is not a political act?
Because the Constitution lays out that when a president commits high crimes and misdemeanors, like he did in this case, the House of Representatives has a duty to begin impeachment proceedings.
OK, Ben?
They didn't charge him with that. This is the problem that Democrats have.
High crimes and misdemeanors.
Elected officials in Congress have now claimed. Let me finish. Have decided there's 86 different reasons over the past 3.5 years that Donald Trump should be impeached, including congressmen saying he should be impeached because he tweeted a mean tweet. There is nothing in the Constitution that says you can impeach the President of the United States of America because he tweeted out something that you got offended by. You guys have totally lost control of not only the Constitution, but also of Congress and your job. You can't do anything but impeach the guy. And what's even more egregious is you have members that you're saying take us seriously who have already said on the record, even if Donald Trump gets reelected, we will impeach him after 2020.
OK, Maclen.
They don't even know what for
Ben,
yet. They don't even need a reason. You just guys want to impeach him because you can't beat him.
Let me bring Maclen back in. Just quickly, Maclen. Again, I come back to the strategy here of the Democrats. It's a political act is what they're doing. They are betting, I guess, that they can cause enough damage to Trump in this process that it will materially affect the 2020 election. That's really what this is about. But there's also an underlying sense that the reason they're doing it, it's a kind of, as Americans would say in the sporting arena, a Hail Mary pass, because none of the candidates that the Democrats currently have really, according to most impartial experts, have much of a chance of unseating a president with the economy in the shape that it's in.
Piers, I'll tell you what a Hail Mary pass is. A Hail Mary pass is asking a foreign power to dig up dirt on a candidate that you know you can't beat, because all the Democrats consistently lead Donald Trump in the key battleground states. If the Democrats just wanted to win this election and get Donald Trump out of office, they wouldn't be going anywhere near impeachment, because I agree, this is not a political tactic.
Michael Bloomberg just jumped in this race because he said he doesn't see any Democrat candidate that can beat Trump. And I think he's right now. Whether you like Trump or not,
he's right.
His economy approval rating.
Field.
His economy approval rating is over 50%. In the end, it will always come down to the economy. If the economy is still surging,
it's the economy, stupid.
Then Trump's going to get re-elected unless he gets successfully impeached, which he won't be, will he, Ben?
And if any other president, by the way, had this economy,
what the Democrats have forgotten is this is no longer. Let me say this. This is no longer about Donald Trump. You just insulted millions of Americans by having an attempted coup on this president, and Democrats basically saying to those Americans, screw you, your vote doesn't matter. We don't respect you. We don't respect your vote. We're going to overthrow the government because we don't like this guy because he sends out mean tweets.
Okay.
I would say grow up.
If you don't like Trump, you can beat him in November.
All right, Maclen. Okay, guys. Final question. My final question.
Be a winner. Don't be a loser.
Wait, Ben. My final question for Maclen is this. There's been an election in this country a few days ago, and the winner of that election, Boris Johnson, won because actually people felt so aggrieved by the failure to act on the democratic will of the people from the referendum into the European Union that they voted for the only candidate that was going to deliver on that referendum result. I see a parallel here with the Democrats, where they don't think they can win democratically, and what they're going to try and do is unseat Trump while he's still in office. And it reminds me of the process here by people who were so aggrieved by that referendum result to try and stop it happening. If you try and do Mr. Trump, I think it will empower him. And it comes back to my last point to you, and I'll let you respond. In the end, isn't this just an act of suicide by the Democrats?
You know, the difference here, Piers, is you know what Boris Johnson got that Donald Trump never got, that the Republicans in the Senate haven't gotten and the Republicans in the House haven't gotten? The most votes. And so when you say that we can't beat him democratically, that's a big difference, is that the voters were with Brexit and the voters were with Boris Johnson. Donald Trump won in a fluke by the tiniest of margins. The idea that we can't beat him when we've gotten the most votes in all three major branches of government is just a fallacy.
We've got to leave it there, Ben.
You knew the rules.
Ben,
the rules have been there for decades.
Ben might not leave it there, though.
Ben, we've got to leave it there. I know once we wind you up, there's no stopping you. It's great to have you.